Hello students, this is the continuation of the first video, Chapter 4, A Truly Beautiful Mind, from Beehive textbook in English for class 9. In the first video, we had done up to number 13. Einstein received the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1921, and he was showered with honors and invitations from all over the world and lauded by the press. Now let's see number 14. When the Nazis came to power in Germany in 1933, Einstein immigrated to the United States. 5 years later, the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin had American physicists in an uproar. Many of them had fled from fascism, just as Einstein had, and now they were afraid the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. So when the Nazis came to power in Germany in the year 1933, Albert Einstein, he immigrated. Immigrated means leaving one's own country and going to the another country to settle for forever. So he immigrated to the United States. So 5 years later, the Germany, that is in Berlin, okay, they discovered nuclear fission. Nuclear fission means the process, okay, the process of how to use this atomic bomb, okay. So the Germans, okay, in Berlin, they had discovered the nuclear fission, and the American scientists, physicists means the scientists, okay, they were very upset because they thought that now the Nazis could build and use that atomic bomb. So many of them, they had fled from fascism. So Nazis, okay, it was under, we all know, the ruler, this Adolf Hitler, right? So many of them, they had fled from fascism just as Einstein had. And now they were afraid that the Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb. So at the urging of a colleague, Einstein, he wrote a letter to the American president. And at that time, the president was Franklin D. Roosevelt. And he wrote the letter on 2nd August 1939. And in that letter, he warned, okay, he warned the American president that a single bomb of this type, atomic bomb, okay, exploded in a port, it will destroy the whole port together with some of the surrounding territory. Which means he had written in his letter about the power, okay, the power of that atomic bomb, how much it can destroy, okay. So he warned to the about the use of this atomic bomb to the American president Franklin D. Roosevelt. So he got the president, he got the letter, okay, and he reacted, okay, he reacted to the letter. That is, the American, they developed the atomic bomb in a secret project of their own. So what the American did was that they secretly discovered, okay, the project they developed, okay, they developed the project, that is the atomic bomb of their own. And later on, what they did, they dropped it on the two Japanese cities, that is Hiroshima and Nagasaki, in August 1945. All this, okay, you might have studied in SST, okay. So I don't need to explain more, okay, regarding this Hiroshima and Nagasaki atomic bomb, okay, that was ruined by the use of this atomic bomb. So the American, they developed the atomic bomb in a very secret project, okay, of their own, and they drop it on the two cities of Japan, that is Hiroshima and Nagasaki, in August 1945. So Einstein was deeply shaken by the extent of the destruction. So Einstein felt very discouraged or shaken by the extent of the destruction. So this time what he did was that he wrote a public missive. Missive means letter, okay, especially very long and official. So what Albert Einstein did was that he wrote a very long letter to the United Nations. So writing a letter to the American president warning them against the use of atomic bomb, and also writing a very long letter to the United Nations. From here we can clearly understand that Albert Einstein is not just a scientist, but he was a humanitarian. He loves the people, okay, he has so much of care and concern for people, and he wanted to do things for the welfare of the or benefit of the people. So he wrote a public missive, a very long letter to the United Nations. So in it, he proposed the formation of a world government. Okay, he proposed for the formation of a world government. So unlike the later two Roosevelt, this one made no impact. So there was no impact. Okay, there was no result for this later also. So there was no effect. Okay, on this later, no. Okay, so over the next decade, so the next for the 10 years, Einstein, he involved in politics and he started agitating for an end of the arms built up, and also using his popularity. He was a very great scientist. Okay, so he was very popular. Okay, so using his popularity, he campaigned for world peace and a democracy. So for the 10 years, okay, the next 10 years, he himself involved in politics, because the later to the president as well as to the United Nations does not have an impact. Okay, so he involved himself in politics and he used his popularity to campaign for peace and democracy. So when Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76, he was celebrated as a visionary and world citizen as much as a scientific genius. So Albert Einstein, he died at the age of 76 in the year 1955. So when he died, he was celebrated by the people, okay, as a visionary. Visionary means a person who can think about the future in an original and intelligent way. So he was regarded as a person who had a visionary, who had a vision, okay, who can predict about the future. So he was celebrated as a visionary and also world citizen, okay, a normal citizen like you and I. And also he was a scientific genius. Genius means someone possessing extraordinary intelligence or a skill. So he was a great scientist. Okay, he was a scientific genius, and along with that, okay, he was a visionary and also he was a world citizen. So the topic, okay, of this lesson in the beginning also I had already told you. The name of the topic is A Truly Beautiful Mind. So truly beautiful mind. Who has this truly beautiful mind? That is Albert Einstein. So Albert Einstein was not only a scientific genius, but he was also a humanitarian. Okay, he was a humanitarian. He worked for the world peace and also for the non-violence. His attributes, okay, his attributes were towards world peace and non-violence. And so this is the reason why not only he was a scientific genius, but he was celebrated as after his death, he was celebrated as a visionary and world citizen as much as a scientific genius. So this is the explanation of this chapter. The lesson is very simple. It is written in a very simple language. Just go through it. If you see any word that you find difficult, please take the help of a dictionary and listen to my explanation carefully. Thank you.